My name is Ava, and at 27 years old, I was living the life I had always dreamed of with my husband. Our beautiful dream house, acquired after years of hard work, had a spacious garden and a refreshing pool. Both successful in our careers, me as a lawyer and him as a doctor. Life was perfect until the day his parents moved in with us. Initially, it seemed like a temporary arrangement to help them through financial setbacks. However, what started as a short-term stay extended indefinitely. As time passed, his parents made themselves at home, imposing their rules and preferences. One day, they crossed a line, revealing that this seemingly temporary situation might not end anytime soon. I find myself in a situation that doesn't feel like home, and this story revolves around how I confronted my in-laws in front of their son. They arrived at our house unexpectedly in the middle of the night, revealing that they had lost their home and savings in a scam. With nowhere else to go, my husband approached me with a plea. "Something terrible has happened, Ava. We've lost everything. Mom, Dad, and I have nowhere else to turn. Our hearts ache and we need your help. Can you let them stay with us until they get back on their feet?" Overwhelmed with their situation, I reassured them, "You don't have to worry. We'll find a way to help you through this. Stay with us and we'll face this together." Expressing gratitude, they responded, "Kids, we can't thank you enough for your kindness. We promise we'll find a way to repay you for this. We're family, and family stands by each other. Don't worry about repayment, Mr. Henry. Our priority is to help you rebuild your lives. Ava." Dear, thank you. We'll do everything we can to get back on our feet as soon as possible. Before my in-laws moved into our house, I had planned to take a short break from work. Little did I know that they would misinterpret my temporary absence as being jobless. Just 2 days after their arrival, my mother-in-law approached me with a well-meaning but misguided concern. I was taken aback by her straightforward question, not expecting such a conversation so soon after their arrival. Nevertheless, I composed myself and responded politely, but my mother-in-law seemed unconvinced with that answer. "Why don't you go to work? Do you depend entirely on AEL for financial support?" "Oh no, it's not that. I'm not jobless. I took a few days off from work to relax and recharge. I plan on returning soon." "Well, dear, it might be a little burdening for AEL if you don't handle your expenses. You should consider being financially independent." "I appreciate your concern, Jack, but please rest assured I'm not entirely dependent on AEL for my expenses. I have my income and contribute to our household finances. This break is simply a way for me to take care of myself and recharge. Once I'm back at work, things will go back to normal." "All right, dear. I just wanted to make sure everything is all right. You know we care about both of you." "Thank you, Jack. I understand your worry, and I truly appreciate your concern for our well-being. But I assure you, everything is fine. I'll be back to work soon, and we'll continue managing our expenses as we always have." After that conversation, things between my in-laws and me took a turn for the worst. Whenever I mustered up the courage to approach AEL for financial assistance, I couldn't help but notice disapproving frowns and annoyed expressions on the faces of my in-laws. It seemed as though they had formed a negative opinion of me. One day, as I was passing by the living room, I overheard a conversation between my father-in-law and mother-in-law. "I just don't understand why she refuses to go to work. She's been jobless for weeks now, and it's as if she's relying solely on Abel's wealth to fund her shopping spree." I talked to her about the same. She says she handles all the expenses by herself, but I see her asking for money from Abel every time. I always had my doubts about her, dear. She must think we're fools, believing that she can take advantage of Abel's hard-earned money without lifting a finger herself. I think we must even talk to Abel or Ava directly. I am not in support of this decision of theirs. My heart sank upon hearing their misguided assumptions about me. They had painted me as a lazy gold digger, someone who squandered Abel's wealth on frivolous shopping instead of contributing to the household. I'd always dreamt of a harmonious family life after marrying Abel. I was unaware that my in-laws had a different expectation of how things should be. Every day I found myself at the beck and call of my in-laws, who seemed to relish bossing me around. They treated me as if I were some kind of gold digger, assuming that I depended solely on their son for everything. Their behavior created a toxic dynamic within the household, leaving me feeling like a servant rather than a valued family member. This dynamic was especially apparent during mealtimes. While I tirelessly prepared all the meals, my mother-in-law and father-in-law would simply sit and relax, seemingly oblivious to my efforts. They expected me to cater to their every need, even going so far as to ask for a glass of water. It was as if they believed my sole purpose in the house was to serve them. Sometimes my mother-in-law would say, Ava dear, can you put mine and Daniel's clothes into the laundry? I'm very tired. Sure, I'll do it. Both of them would ask me to hand over a glass of water 9 to 10 times a day, and the house looked like a complete mess. Even the maid was tired of their behavior. Cleaning the floors became a frequent task due to my in-laws' constant spills. The noise from the TV, blaring variety shows at full volume, caused persistent headaches. Whenever I tried to focus on my laptop for work, interruptions were inevitable. One day, my mother-in-law asked for medicine, suggesting I personally go to a pharmacy instead of using an online delivery service. I explained that the online pharmacy could deliver in half an hour, which was the same time it would take me to bring them. Despite the extra cost for my physical effort, she deemed me lazy, asserting that I should comply with her requests as her son was the one financially supporting me. In response, I defended my work with important documents, but she dismissed it, insisting I should listen to her due to my relationship with her son. I trust you haven't overlooked the fact that your son is not only my husband, but we jointly constructed this household. He committed to supporting both you and me financially, ensuring our well-being, while you leisurely enjoy the comforts of this home. I must express my disappointment. Your disrespectful and ungrateful demeanor has become increasingly apparent. The once serene ambiance we cultivated is now unraveling at the seams. Their presence has injected tension into our once happy abode, causing it to feel stifling. The incessant meddling and unsolicited advice from your in-laws have initiated a growing divide between my husband and me. Faced with this turmoil, I found myself unsure of whom to confide in. Seeking solace, I turned to my best friend Diane, hoping she could offer valuable insights. Several weeks ago, we graciously accommodated your in-laws in our home, as they faced the unfortunate loss of their house and savings due to a scam. However, what transpired turned into an absolute nightmare. Allow me to elaborate on the extent of their actions. My in-laws, it pains me to say, have proven to be the epitome of troublesome. I've encountered the most discourteous and ungrateful individuals one could imagine. Their behavior is truly unbearable, treating me like a servant and a complete stranger. They persistently boss me around, finding fault in everything I do. It's as if they believe they own the house and everything within it. Their demanding and disrespectful demeanor is unrelenting, always expecting things to align with their preferences. They exhibit no consideration for our belongings or resources, using them carelessly and squandering everything. Consequently, our once serene home has transformed into a perpetually noisy, messy, and needlessly troublesome environment. Living under these conditions is beyond frustrating. It's like navigating a constant state of chaos and stress. Their actions make me feel devalued and unappreciated. It's disheartening to believe that they would treat a family member, especially their own, in such a manner. I attempted to address these issues hoping for resolution, but it only exacerbated the situation. Currently on a work break, they presume I am jobless and dependent on my husband, AEL, for everything. Despite having my savings, they disrespectfully assume I rely solely on my husband's financial support. My dream home has turned into a nightmarish existence. Realizing the need for a resolution, I confided in Jocelyn, who suggested discussing the matter with Abel. She rightly pointed out that he should understand his parents' wrongful behavior this time. I agree, and I plan to have a conversation with him about it, acknowledging the urgency of addressing these familial tensions. Summoning the courage, I finally voiced my concerns, expressing, "Honey, isn't it about time your parents found their own place? It's been months, and I miss having our space to ourselves." My husband responded, "I understand, but they're still not financially stable. I can't just ask them to leave." Acknowledging his point, I continued, "I'm not suggesting we abandon them, but we deserve our space too. Remember, this was our dream house. It's just a matter of a few more days. They'll leave soon." However, as the days passed, my frustration mounted. The once joyful conversations at the dinner table morphed into tense silences. My husband's attention wavered, and it felt like I was gradually losing him to his parents' demands. Then one day, while my husband was at work, his parents requested a serious conversation with me. Their faces were stern and disapproving, signaling an unexpected turn of events. As we sat down, they began, "Listen, we need to talk. We've reached a decision, and we believe it's time for you to leave. We don't like you or trust you. We feel like you're just using our son for his money. You're jobless, and we believe you're a gold digger." Stunned by their accusations, I hurriedly protested, "But that's not true. I love your son genuinely. I never married him for his money. I entered into marriage with him out of genuine love. However, their perspective starkly differed. They accused me of being a detrimental influence on him, asserting that I am not up to his standards and that he deserves someone better. They unequivocally declared their desire for me to exit his life and vacate their house, presenting it as my only chance to comply. Seeking understanding, I asked if we could discuss the matter further. Their response was cold and dismissive, asserting that there was nothing to discuss. They had made their decision. Confounded and desperate for clarity, I questioned their rationale. Their response was a blunt declaration that they did not believe my love for their son was genuine. They accused me of being motivated solely by financial gain, dismissing my explanation that my current break from work was a deliberate choice to focus on personal development. I pleaded with them, emphasizing that my commitment to their son was not driven by monetary considerations. I recounted our early days when he was just a student, and I married him for love, not financial gain. Their skepticism persisted, insinuating that I opportunistically seized upon his potential. Despite explaining that I supported him in his aspirations without seeking material gain, they remained adamant in their conviction that I was after his wealth. I asserted my rights as his wife, reminding them that I had a legitimate claim on him. However, they accused me of manipulation, contending that my kindness was a facade. Despite my attempts to reconcile, they labeled me a negative influence, refusing to entertain the possibility of finding common ground. Frustrated and distressed, I implored them to reconsider, expressing my genuine desire to salvage my marriage. Yet their uncompromising stance remained, leaving me grappling with the prospect of losing the love and partnership I held dear. "It's too late for that. We've already made arrangements for you to leave in a week." "A week? That's hardly enough time. Please reconsider." "No, our decision is final. You have 1 week to pack your things and leave." "I can't believe you're doing this to me. I never thought you would treat me this way." "It's for the best. You're not right for our son, and we won't allow you to ruin his life. You can't control our lives like this. We're adults, and we can make our own decisions. We know what's best for him, and he will thank us one day." "Well, I won't leave without a fight. I love him, and I won't let you tear us apart." "We'll see about that. But mark our words, you are not welcome here anymore." As they delivered their ultimatum, I found myself amused by the unfolding drama. However, things took a peculiar turn, and I couldn't help but laugh. Their assumption that I was jobless was clear from the expressions on their faces. It was time to set the record straight. Let me clarify. I am not jobless or a gold digger, as you might have assumed. I am a successful lawyer with a thriving career and financial independence. "Oh, is that so? And why should we believe you? You ask Abel for money every now and then. I think you are lying." That couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, I contributed equally to our household expenses and even helped pay for half of the house we used to live in. I possess all the legal documents to substantiate my claims. More crucially, despite recent events, it's imperative to understand that my husband and I have a loving and robust marriage. We've weathered financial challenges, but our relationship is founded on love and mutual support. Upon my revelation of a successful career, one of them scornfully dismissed it as delusion. The irony of their accusation was not lost on me, considering they were the ones evading the authorities. Their faces paled as the realization of the consequences of their actions sank in. The veneer of comfort they had worn crumbled, revealing their true, unscrupulous nature. The weight of their deeds began to bear down on their conscience. In response to their incredulous denial, I dropped a bombshell. "I discovered your little scam, and I've reported it to the authorities. You're not victims. You're criminals who have deceived and swindled countless people out of their hard-earned money." Their protests and accusations of preposterousness held no ground. I asserted, "It's not just an accusation. The evidence is overwhelming. The police are actively searching for you, and it's only a matter of time before you face the court." Their incredulity deepened, exclaiming, "This can't be happening. We're respected members of society." I countered, "Respected members do not cheat innocent people out of their money. You thought you could get away with it, but justice will prevail. The law will catch up to you, and you'll face the consequences of your actions." Outraged by the revelation, they attempted to shift the blame, exclaiming, "How could you betray us like this? We are your husband's parents. You betrayed me first by attempting to trick me into leaving my own house. Now so many innocent people have suffered due to your actions. I will not stand idly by and witness the harm you have caused to more innocent lives. The truth will prevail, and you will be held accountable for your crimes." "But it was because of a misunderstanding. We thought you were a bad influence on our son." "Yes, that's correct. I also believe you are a bad influence on our lives, and I made sure to report it to the authorities. You're bluffing. No, I'm not. You're not victims. You're criminals who have cheated hundreds of people out of their hard-earned money. The police are after you, and it's only a matter of time before they catch up. As our conversation reached its peak, a knock on my door interrupted us. Opening the door, I found police officers standing there, ready to take my in-laws into custody. They had tirelessly tracked them down for months, and they were grateful for the tip-off I had provided. Are these the individuals you reported? Yes, officers, these are the ones. The police officers wasted no time. They swiftly handcuffed my in-laws and read them their rights. Their faces turned pale with the realization that their actions had finally caught up with them. We've been after them for quite some time. Thank you for your cooperation. Your tip-off has helped us bring these criminals to justice. You're welcome, officers. I couldn't stand by while they continued to harm innocent people. It's good to see justice being served. With my in-laws now in police custody, I felt a sense of relief. The deception had been exposed, and they would now face the consequences of their actions. The police officers expressed their gratitude once more before escorting my in-laws away. Later that day, when Abel, my husband, returned from work, I knew it was time to share the whole story with him. I laid out the details of his parents' financial misdeeds, not holding back any information. To my relief, Abel stood by my side, understanding the depth of their betrayal and the necessity of consequences. We'll get through this together. Lastly, I was actually grateful that our home now belonged to us, and no one could invade our privacy. Once again, our once peaceful life was back on track, with his parents serving the consequences of their actions.